Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. I hope everyone is having a great start to their week, a great start to the day. My first appointment this morning was at 8 a.m. And so I just got off the phone and it prompted me to do this short video. And my question is very simple. Do you know exactly what was quoted? What did the agent actually quote to you? And by that, I don't just mean a price, a number that sounds great. Not all products are the same. There's many variations of what could be quoted. As many of you know, one of my main niches, so to speak, is mortgage protection. That's a good majority of the business that I do. Of course, we do a lot more than that. We do different various forms of life insurance and health, certainly with a specialty in Medicare as well. But for the purpose of this video, we're talking about mortgage protection. We're talking about life insurance, really. Often people think that mortgage protection is some special insurance. And, just to be totally honest, it's marketing. Typically when someone buys a house or they refinance, then there's a need there. Just like any other change in life, you get married, you have a child, you borrow a certain amount of money for your business, or, there's different seasons in life, different times in life where there's different needs for various amounts in terms of life insurance. So this morning, my first call, the lady that I spoke with, from a health standpoint, as far as medications or anything like that, actually healthy. No medications, no medical issues to speak of. However, her build was pretty high. She was like 5 foot, mid 5 foot, and over 300 pounds. Which from an underwriting standpoint, life insurance companies look at that, and that's a risk, which means that typically there would be a rating applied to that, if it can even be written. In her case, most carriers would decline that, with the exception of a few options, which is one of the things that I spoke with her about. My point in this video is not necessarily to go into great detail about a specific issue that someone might have, but it's more about what is the agent actually quoting you? I gave her a couple of options. Like I said, very limited as to what her options are, unfortunately, based on her build alone. And when I did, she reacted fairly quickly in a way that basically what she said was, well, I've gotten some other quotes, and one of them was just a lot cheaper than that, so but thank you for your time. And so I continued the conversation a little bit, and one of the things that I asked her was, do you know exactly what the agent quoted you? The amount of the insurance? Was it a term policy? Was it an accident policy? How long was it? And she didn't know. She had no idea. All she knew was the guy gave her a number. It sounded a lot better. And so often, especially in, like I said, this particular thing, one of the things that I do, there's a lot of direct mail. There's a lot of competition. Usually I'm, going against, quite frankly, a lot of different agents. Some of them are very good at what they do. Some of them will say practically whatever they need to say to get a sale. Personally, I don't do business that way. And another is, quite honestly, there's just a lot of agents out there that I'm not trying to bash people. It's honest, just like in any business. There's a lot of folks out there that are in professions that are ignorant to certain aspects of what they should be doing. They may be early in the career and they're just given a quote sheet, and basically they're just looking at the amount and they're saying, okay, this is how much it is, but they're not taking all the underwriting criteria into play, or they may not even know it. Either they don't know it or they're not even checking it. Or the last part, which I would hope would not be true, but unfortunately many times it is, they're just quoting something anyway. They're quoting it to get an application. It's called the old bait and switch. It's not uncommon, especially with term insurance. There's different forms that you might fill out, or you may call certain numbers. And again, I'm saying there's a lot of reputable companies out there that market these products every day. They're very good at what they do. They're very thorough in what they do. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's impossible to find someone that way. What I am saying, though, is you need to understand exactly what's being offered to you. Some of the questions that I tell people to ask, especially let's say we're talking about a term policy here. How many years was the term that was quoted? What are the benefits? Is it immediate day one coverage? And what rating, I should say, were you quoted? Did they quote you standard? Did they quote you preferred? Did they quote you preferred plus? One of the things I find often is, somebody might quote somebody a 10-year term at a preferred plus rate when the person really needed and wanted a longer term, or at least they wanted to know how much it was. The other thing was this particular person may never, ever be able to qualify for a preferred plus rate, just based on a multitude of factors. It could be their build, it could be their health, it could be family history, it could be financial history. There's a lot of factors that go into insurance, especially when it comes to a better than standard rate. And so generally what I'll do when I've talked to folks is I try to get as much information as I can, and I do a thorough risk assessment. Many times I may know enough based on their situation to have a pretty good idea of exactly where they're going to be placed. But there's also many cases, and I'll let the folks know, look, for me to do my job effectively and to be able to provide the best service to you, I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to call multiple carriers, and I'm going to get what's called a risk assessment to find out exactly where someone might fall, especially if, say, they've had some heart disease or things like that, diabetes. Fortunately, diabetes, I have many products that are very liberal in their underwriting when it comes to diabetes, so I'm able to provide that coverage for a lot of folks, and I know basically, exactly where they're going to fall, provided that they haven't had any complications of that. So anyway, I said this was a short video. I'm probably going on a little longer than I originally wanted to, but again, my point is, if you're doing business with someone over the phone, like many of us are right now. I mean, the majority of everything I'm doing right now is over the phone since COVID. But it's important to understand exactly what the agent is quoting you, what the product is, exactly what the product is, what the benefits are, and how he got to that price. Don't be afraid to ask them to send you an illustration, or at least maybe even to do a screen share, and to show you how they're coming up with those numbers. But ask questions. Don't just take something because it seems cheap. If it seems too good to be true, then often it is. But again, that's not always the case. If you're totally healthy, then certainly there's some really good rates out there with the right companies, and we can help in that. So that's my advice today. Is just be careful when you're doing business with folks. Be careful when you submit an application, unless you're really sure about what you're getting. Without going into too much of that's something else to really consider. Let's say you do submit an application, and what comes back is quite honestly far from what you expected, because again, you were quoted a low number, but the reality of the situation is you would never get that actual price based on your situation. It's good to it's good to know those things beforehand, or at least have a reasonable idea before you go into that situation. So I hope this is helpful. If it is, please do feel free to comment, let me know if this was helpful to you. And certainly if there's anything that I can do for you, don't hesitate to give us a call here at Granite Insurance, 504-541-5777. You can visit our webpage, www.graniteinsurance.com. Happy Monday. You guys have a great week and a great day. Thanks for watching.